Hi, this is Danica McKellar, and I'm going to tell TV Insider my audition story for the Wonder Years. All right, so I started acting when I was 10, and my sister did as well, Crystal McKellar. My mother had a rule. This was going to be a hobby only. No series regular auditions and no auditions for feature films that would take us out of town. This was like little commercials here and there, maybe guest roles on episodes of shows, but that's it. She wanted school, family, home life to come first. All right, so the Wonder Years comes along and I have an audition to play Winnie Cooper, which was just supposed to be a guest role on the first episode. If they knew from the beginning that it was going to be a series regular role, I never would have auditioned for it. So I auditioned for it, my sister also auditioned for it. It was a few auditions and we both got called back. And I remember we were both there on a Friday evening and they kept having us read again and again, and the room was getting smaller and smaller of the other little girls until it was 3 of us and then the 2 of us. It was down to me and my sister. And they said, look, we're all gonna go to dinner, have a dinner break, we're gonna come back and we want you to read with the lead actor. I'm like, okay. So we go downstairs in Studio City, this little restaurant, and I see this really cute little boy that looked around my age having dinner with his mom, and I was like, I wonder if that's him, you know, and he was so cute. I was like, oh my gosh, I hope that's him. And sure enough, we went upstairs to do that final audition, and he was the one, and it was a really fun read. And that night, they told us it came down to the 2 of us, me and my sister, for the role. Ultimately, they chose me, but they said, we love Crystal so much, we're gonna write a role for her. And they did. She played Becky Slater, the little blonde nemesis of Fred Savage for a while. They dated for a little while, then they were enemies, and we got to do some scenes together, and it was amazing. One really good thing is that since Winnie Cooper wasn't supposed to be a series regular role, it didn't seem like that big a deal that I got the role versus her, and it was okay, it wasn't a big deal. But they said, if we go to series, we'll write a role for you. Well, now we're shooting the pilot, and by the way, we auditioned on that Thursday and Friday, and then we started shooting on Tuesday. That's how fast it was. Apparently they'd already auditioned all the little girls who had bigger names than me, and I was very new, and they just like, oh, let's try these girls, and I ended up getting the role, which is amazing. Anyway, then about 4 days into shooting, the producers approached my mom and they said, we think that Danica and Fred have this amazing chemistry. We want to offer her a series regular role. The network has approved it. My mom was like, whoa, we don't do that. We don't. And I was like, please, please, please. And by that point, we'd already been on set, and she saw that Joanne Savage and Jane Saviano and Marsha Hervey, the moms of the other kids on the show, they were all so grounded, and they really cared about their kids being kids first. It wasn't going to be one of those Hollywood situations where the kids are being pushed in front of the camera when they're sick and like just work, you know. No, if somebody wasn't feeling well, the mom pulled them. If they weren't getting enough breaks, they'd say, hey, we gotta stop shooting. They haven't had a recess in a little while. They really, really cared about their kids. And so my mom said, this is a good environment if we're gonna have one. She goes, but she's like, Danica, I hired you a lawyer, a really good lawyer, and there's loopholes all over the contract. If you ever want to stop, you just say the word and we will stop. We'll pull you out of the show, for sure. If it ever gets to be too much, and I was like, okay, I was like, please, of course, I never wanted to get pulled out. And the producers were wonderful, and they would often try to schedule around big events, big school events, whatever it was. So lucky to have been on a show like The Wonder Years with producers like we had, because we really did get to be kids first. And again, it was meant to be, because if Winnie Cooper had been a series regular role from the beginning, I wouldn't have even auditioned for it. I remember watching the premiere of The Wonder Years, January 31st, 1988, and it was right after the Super Bowl that year, so huge audience. And I also remember that the opening credits were not finished yet, so it was just a black screen with all of our names flashing on the screen with Joe Cocker's song, of course. Another interesting tidbit is that the first time the pilot aired, we didn't have Daniel Stern's voice as the narrator. It was someone else. And then when the pilot re-aired, when the first season happened, because they re-aired it, then we had Daniel Stern. So if you can get a hold of that first episode somehow, it's got a different narrator. The final narration of that first episode, I remember watching it, and it used to say, after the kiss, that was our first kiss and our last one together. And watching that episode, they took out the last part. And I was like, oh, so there's gonna be more kisses? And of course I had a huge crush on Fred at the time, so I was very excited to hear that. I was like, wow, they deliberately changed the narration, to not say it was our last kiss, so I guess there might be more. I guess there were more. And that's my audition story for the Wonder Years.